welcome back to the Trick Shift Garage YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to place your actual whole headlight assembly. I know a lot of you out there have looked up and, try to figure out how to get your headlights from looking so dim, because I know it's definitely like a very common issue on these 2007 to 2012 Nissan Altimas. The headlights they fade over and then they get real dim and yellow and icky, and you don't really want to be dealing with that. Now, I mean, there's products out there, right, Bob, that you can actually clean it off with, and it helps.
Yeah, some of them work, some of them don't. It really depends on where the wear is. Sometimes the wear is on the inside of the housing. Can't do that. You got to replace the whole assembly. So you're better off getting new headlights. So
that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you how to replace the whole headlight assembly. All right, let's get started. So me and Bob have been looking through our YouTube analytics, and we've noticed you guys have been watching but not subscribing. So can you please do us a huge favor, huge favor, and just hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel out. It helps us try to, bring more content for you guys. So hit that subscribe.
that was good.
So hit that subscribe button. Thank you. All right, first step is to remove the 6 indicated clips. And you just want to use a flathead there. Pry open, and you'll be able to push it out. Okay, so this thing works basically by when you pull it out, the little plastic tabs on the other side will spread, basically locking it in place. So once you pull the pin out, then it gives you room to pull the whole assembly out. Alright, so go ahead and just pull all these out. Not a big deal. Alright, so you got those 6 done. So there should be like 5 of these same clips underneath the undercover splash guard. And you're going to do the same thing. I'm showing you here again. I'm just going to pull them out. It's good to just use a flathead because they're just easy to use. You don't have to use any kind of special tool. Some people use like some kind of like needle or something, or with a hook or something. You can use them too. That works fine. But for me, it's always just been a flathead. Works perfectly good. Alright, so the next step is there's going to be a series of screws on each side. Just going to be a Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to go ahead and, oh yeah, I was missing one. I still have to replace those. I still haven't done that yet, but we're going to go ahead and unscrew the Phillips screws. And then once you do that, you should be able to pull the splash guard out away from the bumper. And what that will do is give you access to reach this screw right here. And it's just going to be another Phillips screw. That screw actually attaches the bumper to the fenders. There's going to be one on each side. It's kind of amazing that only one screw is on each side to hold the whole bumper in. Alright, so now we're on the passenger side. Same deal. I'm missing a screw again here as well. So there should be 3 for you though. Go ahead and unzip this one. It's going to be the same deal as the driver's side. Once you get those 3 screws out, then you're able to peel back the splash guard, just like so. Alright, there's the other screw in there. And then what I end up doing was finding that the little clip that goes on to the splash guard. It just kind of slides in there and pinches itself on. But I lost the screw, so I'll get to it eventually. I'm not really worried about it. Alright, so here we go. Here's the other screw. There's just one screw on each side, like I said, and those screws are the ones that really hold the bumper in place well. Alright, so then once you have those 2 screws off, this bumper kind of just comes right out. You just got to give it a little tug. Be careful. Again, I mean, it is the whole bumper, and it literally just comes right out, just like so. All right, so now we're on to the headlight itself. There's going to be a couple screws. All the bolts, not screws, bolts. All the bolts are 10 millimeter. So you just want to go ahead and loosen them up, like you see here. And then there's one down here. There's a total of 5 bolts. I almost end up missing one of them, and it's because I think it was on a bracket and it was right underneath this one here. So just be careful not to miss that one. But once you get all 5 of those out, then the headlight assembly should be able to come free. And just be careful with that wiring that goes around the headlight assembly. Alright, so the headlight's out. So at this point, all we have to do is take out all the bulbs from the assembly itself, which, you know, is pretty straightforward. So we're going ahead, I'm taking out the turn signal bulb. Alright, I think that's the low beam. Yeah, blue. Low beam side. And that clip was holding in my, holding the wires back from me turning it all the way. So I pulled that out. And if yours is like that, I wouldn't even put it back when I was done. I just left it off because I know that eventually when I go to change the headlight bulb, it's going to get in my way. I don't know why the manufacturer just didn't make it long enough, I guess. But yeah, that just comes right out like so. You probably use pliers, or maybe it'll come loose on your own. Okay, so there goes the headlight bulb. That's the low beam, just like so. And there's a little tab there. You just got to pull back on, and the bulb should come out. Relatively easy. Okay, there you go. Pull that, and this is the high beam. I don't think I've ever replaced the high beam lights on my car. I've had the car for like 13 years, but there it is. Same deal. Same kind of tab. You just pull it back, and then the bulb should break free. Or not break free. Please don't break. All right. So the next is the side marker lamp, and that one's real simple. You just basically twist the whole housing and it just comes right off. You can actually leave the bulb in there, but just for demonstrations, I'm just going to show you that little tab there. You just want to pull and it comes out, or you can pull the bulb out itself right by the actual bulb. All right, so then there's one more clip. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's one clip there holding the harness on, and then once you got that out, then you're free. The headlight assembly is totally detached from the car. Okay. All right, so let's put it all back together. So, hypothetically, you would have your new headlight assembly, and it should go the same way as before. Just make sure you have your low beam and high beams in the right situation, so you're not, lighting up the wrong ones. So we put the one clip in. Now we're putting our turn signal back on. You really didn't have to separate it from the connector piece. You could have just left the bulb in there if you wanted to, but I was just trying to be safe and not actually break one of my bulbs, because you can reuse your bulbs as long as they're actually working. There's the part there that actually uses the screw into the headlight assembly, and it's usually like a quarter or half turn, locks itself in place. Okay, so now I'm putting the high beam on and connecting it just like so. There's a little tab, it locks in place. You can't really mess this up. It only goes on one way. Okay, so now another thing that you need to keep an eye on is the metal tabs that go around the headlight assembly. You're looking for the big one, which you can't really see there, but you'll see how it's supposed to match up with the headlight assembly. So once you get those tabs lined up, then you're able to put it in, do a quarter turn, and then the bulb locks in. Same as the low beam side. We're grabbing it and we're going to put it in. Not a big deal. Yeah, just want to make sure that you have the right bulb for the right housing, because you can get these mixed up if you're not careful. There's the tab I was telling you about, the larger one. You just keep an eye on that one. The other two tabs should fall into place as long as you have the big one lined up. All right, so now we're just snapping in place. I'm trying to show again what's happening with my particular assembly. The wire is just too short, so it's preventing me from rotating it enough to get the bulb out. So when this thing is back in the car, it's going to be a pain in the butt to try to get that bulb out if I don't release that clip right there. So I'm just going to leave mine detached in my particular situation. Oh, I did take the bulb out for the side marker lamp. Yeah, so you could have left it there. I took mine out. But anyway, it goes in the same way as the side of the blinker assembly. You just kind of line up the tabs and then twist in place. See, this one has like 4, but there's the bigger tab right there. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and slide that in, do a quarter turn or whatever to lock it in. All right, so now, oh, and then yes, so when you get your new headlight assembly, you're gonna have to adjust your headlight up or down, you know, your vertical, how high the light goes up or down. What I did, because mine didn't come with directions, but I just rotated it all the way in to see if it was either the light was on the sky or pointed on the ground, and then I just adjusted it accordingly piecemeal until I had the right height. Typically you want to measure it about 25 to 30 feet away from like a wall or something that you can see. All right, and then we just line everything up. But at this point we're going ahead, we're putting the new headlight assembly in, we're lining up our wiring harness here. Mine had like little like plastic tabs you can actually fit the wires into, kind of just like push it in. But yeah, it was pretty straightforward there. At this point we are putting the bolts back in. Again, it's a 10mm bolt, pretty straightforward stuff. Just tighten in, hand tight is good enough. That one was a little bit tricky. I had to get Bob to like hold the bracket in place, but it wasn't too bad after all. And just line them all up. There's another one. Yeah, the headlight assembly is really not hard. The biggest hurdle to, you know, doing this, I would say, is removing the bumper. It's the biggest pain in the butt about the Altima, is to change the headlight assembly, you got to remove the whole bumper. And so the driver's side is the same as the passenger side, like I showed you in the video here. It's just everything's kind of, you know, opposites. But anyway, we're putting the bumper back on. It's pretty much the reverse order that we took it off on. Once you get those holes, those 6 holes lined up for the clips, you're going to go ahead and just push them in to secure the bumper in place. And again, make sure everything's lined up properly, nothing's out of place. All right, now we're just pushing the tabs back in, nice and easy. Yeah, and make sure that you push in the center part, because what the center part does is it locks the whole fastener in place to prevent the bumper from coming off. All right, so now at this point we're gonna go ahead and screw in the Phillips screw. This is the one that actually attaches the bumper to the fender of the car. And now we're putting on our splash shield again. We're attaching that back to the underside of the bumper. Make sure that the splash shield is within the bumper. Don't have the splash shield on the outside. You want the bumper part to actually be underneath. So the splash shield is up inside. Okay, so here's another one. I'm still, yeah, I just didn't bother with my screw. I mean, 2 screws should be enough to secure this. I just went with that. So I do plan on eventually getting those other screws, but like I said before, I'm not really worried about it right now. Okay, so now onto the passenger side. Same deal, just screw in the Phillips screw right there. And then we'll just put the splash shield back in. This side gave me a little bit more fight, but it wasn't a bad deal. And the same thing over here. We're gonna put the screws back in. And these screws are common screws. You can go to Home Depot, you know, probably Walmart even has those screws. They're a very common screw to have. I don't think you need to actually go to a car part store for them, but hey, any hardware store probably has these screws. They're pretty common. If you lose one, you can just take it to them and ask to point you in the right direction. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to go ahead and put the underside splash shield. We're going to pop those pins back in, and in this particular instance, I had to buy a new one. Basically, I was adjusting my headlights, and I decided that I was going to drive down the road a bit with no front bumper, because I wanted to drive the car and see if the headlights were where they needed to be. So basically, I pulled out of the driveway and I started accelerating. I think once I hit about 30, the old underside splash shield, or I don't even know what you want to call it, just got sucked under the car and it just disintegrated into a million pieces. So I had to order a new one. So that's why that one looks particularly clean and new, is because it's brand new. Check the bumper and make sure everything is good. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Trick Shift Garage videos. See you on the next one.